Welcome back to World Talks. I'm Anna Kalczyńska. As peace negotiations over the Russian aggression create significant waves across the countries supporting Ukraine, a plan to end the hostilities is gradually taking shape. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff has returned from Moscow with a new set of demands from his Russian counterpart. And now Ukrainian diplomacy faces difficult decisions about whether to agree to a territorial concession in exchange for peace in the war-torn region. In the theoretical and highly politicized discussions regarding which parts of Ukraine might need to be relinquished, it is often the voices of those who have sacrificed everything that resonate most strongly. The soldiers who give their lives for the freedom of their land. We now turn to Mateusz Wodziński, a Polish volunteer who helps with providing logistics to the fighting Ukrainian defenders, for insights into this complex situation. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Hello, everyone.
So
nice to be here.
Yes, and we're very glad to have you. So you are in a day-to-day contact with those fighting on the front lines. What is the general understanding of the state of play at the moment among Ukrainian defenders?
Well, obviously, yes, they are very concerned about this whole situation with the negotiations and with what is going to happen, because well, their lives depend on it. So they are very, very concerned about it. They are following all the developments closely, and I think that they are most concerned with what is happening with the talks with America, because Russia. They know that Russia cannot be trusted at all, and so, but they are more worried about the U.S. and about what they are going to do, what President Trump is going to do, because, well, it's their lifeline. I mean, without America, they would not be able to survive. So they are very concerned about that. We go there every 2 weeks. We talk to them. Obviously, that's all they want to talk about. They want to find out what we think about what is happening, what we think, what we as people, what we think about what is happening, with these negotiations and with what the President Trump is going to do. So, yeah, it is very clear that they are concerned about that.
And understandably so. Well, a very important conversation took place yesterday in the Vatican. As you and they probably know, Volodymyr Zelensky took to the rare opportunity to talk to President Donald Trump following his exceptional conversation. He took to social media saying that it was a very symbolic meeting that has a potential to become historic. If we achieve results, says Zelensky, thank you, Mr. President. So what do you make of it?
Well, I think I'm a little skeptical about the American president's approach, and I think the soldiers, they have a similar opinion. I mean, from everything that he's shown so far, I wouldn't have any high hopes with regard to what he's going to do. But the thing is that it's actually kind of ironic for President Zelensky. He was before Trump. He was a very unpopular president among the Ukrainian soldiers. I was hearing a lot of bad things about him for a long time from the soldiers, but then all this stuff with Trump began to happen, and all of a sudden, Zelensky turned into kind of almost like a hero. Everyone united behind him, and they are supporting him. So that's been kind of, unexpected to see. Now everyone is supporting him. Everyone in Ukraine is supporting him, and they are actually very proud of him for standing up to Trump. So
So is there no faith in Donald Trump, who, after the conversation with Zelensky yesterday, took also to the social media, to the Truth Social, saying there was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities and towns over the last days? It makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war, he's just tapping me along and has to be dealt differently through banking and secondary sanctions. Too many people are dying. So do you think this could be perhaps sort of a turn in U.S. approach?
I don't think it's going to be a turn. I mean, the only good thing about Trump is that he is completely unpredictable. And so, there might be a time where he actually gets angry or pissed off with Putin and he does something good for a change and starts supporting Ukraine. But I mean, I wouldn't hope on him trying to see this situation clearly for what it is. You have Russia, who is the aggressor, and then you have Ukraine, who is the victim, who is defending itself. So, and then you have President Trump, who is kind of saying, yeah, well, both sides are, at fault. So, which is clearly not the case. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't have very much hope for this situation. I mean, the only thing that could happen is Trump getting fed up with Putin and, deciding, okay, let's help Ukraine then, if Putin doesn't want peace.
We'll see about that. Well, rightly so. You said for yourself that these are the big politics, big picture, and obviously on the decisions of the politicians depend many of the lives of the soldiers you're meeting. But let's get to the ground. How about what you're seeing on the ground, right? We observe the movements at the front lines, noting gains and losses, sometimes kilometer by kilometer. What is your insight into the morale of Ukrainian soldiers? How exhausted are they, or how motivated they stay?
Well, both things are true at the same time. They are very tired and they want the war to end. They want to go home. They don't want to die. That's obvious. But at the same time, they are clearly very motivated to stay there and to fight for the best outcome that is possible. So even though it might not be possible for them to, let's say, regain Crimea, they are going to stay there and defend what they have. It's their land, so they are going to be there. And it's kind of crazy to sometimes see these opinions where, it's Ukraine that wants to keep fighting. No, Ukraine is the one that wants the war to end because they're the ones that have been invaded and they are the ones who are dying on their land. So the soldiers are dying, the civilians are getting killed, and the Ukrainians are the biggest supporters of peace. And so, but this isn't about getting any kind of peace. This peace has to be long-lasting and has to be fair to Ukraine. Otherwise, there is no point in surrendering, because it's just going to make their situation worse. So, yes, the soldiers are very tired. There aren't enough of them there. There are many more Russians, which is why the fighting is so difficult. But at the same time, they are very motivated to stay there for as long as it takes. And even if America backs out completely and stops providing weapons and ammunition and any kind of other support that they are providing, the Ukrainians are going to stay there and keep fighting if that's what it takes to defend their homeland.
Speaking of what is needed right now, in your opinion, what kind of support do the soldiers need right now? Equipment, ammunition, transportation, medical aid?
Well, as far as there are two types of support that they need. I mean, they obviously need weapons and ammunition, but that is something that that volunteers cannot provide. This is more about getting support from other countries, and so that is obviously one thing that is needed. Another thing is stuff like stuff that we can bring in as volunteers, as civilians, which is cars, for example, which is what actually I do. We bring off-road vehicles to the front line, and that is the number one need as far as things that volunteers can provide. Because these cars, when they get there, they face a very difficult time. They get destroyed very quickly. Either by Russian drones, there are very, very many of them these days, and the cars, the trucks, they are a priority target for them. So, and even if they don't get destroyed by an FPV, a drone, they can simply get damaged because the roads there are very, very terrible.
So how many vehicles
there are
did you
terrible
manage
roads.
to transport and to hand over to Ukrainian defenders?
We have delivered 320 trucks so far, and that's been happening for almost 3 years now. So obviously there are going to be more. In fact, I'm actually driving some more vehicles to Ukraine right now, and yeah,
And so what is
it's
the
been
reaction? How do the
320.
soldiers react when you bring them these vehicles? What kind of support is it for them?
Well, they're obviously always very happy and appreciative of this. Well, they are getting stuff that saves their lives and makes fighting possible. I mean, without these vehicles, it would be extremely difficult for them to just keep fighting. The front line is extremely long. It's well over 1,000 kilometers long, and the distances there in the east are very, very big. So without a car, it would be just impossible to do anything. So
And for the people who would like to support you in your help and help you, what is the best way to help right now? What do you need the most?
I think it's all about fundraising right now. I mean, we are in the fourth year of the war, so interest in it is decreasing. It's declining rapidly, and also fundraising is a lot more difficult now than it was, let's say, 2 years ago. But we do what we can, and so fundraising, and I've had a lot of Polish people donate their own cars, and obviously if that is still possible, then yeah, I mean, we take them, we get them ready, we get them fixed up, and we drive them all the way to the front line, deliver them to soldiers, so that we are certain that they get there and that they are used for the purpose that they are intended to be used for. So if we can get more fundraising or if we can get more cars, that's perfect.
Well, good luck with that. Thank you so much for everything you're doing and for joining us this morning. Mateusz Wodziński, and a Polish volunteer, helping with providing logistics to the fighting Ukrainian soldiers. Thank you so much once again. And thank you for watching World News, but please stay tuned to TVP World for more features and news.